Hello and welcome to episode 37, which is the second half of episode 36. So I'm just going to cut to the footage now of where I was in the middle of that episode. So other than bringing the water up, this is done. So then we come over here. We've got our input of silica. We're going to need our input of coal. And we just saw the coal power. We just saw the coal conveyors. They're right there. Those two things. I need to take those two conveyors. We've got 2, 4. We should have 10 of these, right? I need to have one conveyor feed 5 and the other conveyor feed 5. So that's not too bad. And that'll do our inputs. Oh, I kind of blocked my whole thing with these fluid buffers for stuff running down. I guess I only need to get 2 conveyors, right? Because the other ones, the conveyors are just going to output that way. So yeah, I just have to get 2 coal conveyors in here. So we've got the alumina. So we got to do the water back here. I'm procrastinating on that. Here we've got this input. I'm going to get those 2 coal over here and split them and feed these, and we'll have this input. The aluminum scrap output is just going to go into this next bay. Hopefully that works out okay. And then the water needs to return back over to here, right? So there's going to be, and I think I put floor holes in the first one, but I didn't do it again. There's 4 of these, and then there's 4 of those. So each one of these needs to drop down and connect into those 4, which I can't really put the floor holes in because I don't know exactly where those pipes are going to be. Like, are they going to come this way? Or are they going to go that way? Or I don't know yet. So that'll have to hold off. Yeah, so I guess I'll do the coal next. Okay, still haven't hooked the water up yet. I did get the coal. So the coal, I brought it from upstairs right there. 2 coal lines come down to this point. And each coal can do 5. So they both come here in the middle. This coal feeds this one and then goes that way and feeds those 4. This coal comes down, feeds this one, and then goes this way and feeds those 4. So input wise, these are done, right? So on this one, input wise, we need water. Output wise, we're done, although the silica doesn't finish going anywhere. Input wise, we're done. We've got the alumina solution, which is being piped over from there, and we've got the coal. Output wise, we need to get rid of the water, which again involves sending it to the other one. And then we've got scrap, 360 scrap. 360 and 360 is 720. We have a 780 belt. So I'm combining two together, right? And they're in pairs. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right? It just so happens that 720 of scrap needs 8 foundries. I had a foundry blueprint that was a 1x4. So I kind of just doubled it and I made a little change. I put the power in the middle and I reversed it so the inputs are on the inside. So these need the scrap and they're going to need the silica. So I just dropped them all in here. And all I've got to do is do that. So those 2, and it just so happens that there's 10 of these. We're doing them in pairs, which means 5, and there's 5 bays, and then they need 8 foundries, and 8 foundries happen to fit. I didn't plan any of this out. I really didn't plan any of this out. It just stuff like this worked out really well, but if it didn't, I mean, I just would have used the next bay. It wouldn't have really mattered. I tried to make the building big enough that I shouldn't run out. I shouldn't run out of space. So that will send all the scrap over and get all that processed. Now these also need silica, right? And so I've got this load balancer thing to make sure that the silica from downstairs gets used before the new silica that's getting made upstairs gets used. So I've got these 4. Oh, I put a hole in the floor here. That was nice of me. So we need to get silica into these. Now the issue is there's 5 of them. They need 75 times 8. I need 600 silica. I need 5 belts of 600. And what I've got up here is 4 belts of whatever 3,000 is, right? 750. I've got 4 belts of 750 and I need 5 belts of 600. I could do a pretty complex load balancer again to get that. I could just manifold it at this point. There's a couple different ways I could do it. I'm not entirely sure, but somehow we're going to take that silica up there and get it onto all 5 of these, and that'll be the inputs of these, and then the outputs will just be the aluminum ingots, which I have the outputs coming down this way. I was confused here, but yeah, those are different because the machines are going the opposite way. So I've still got to get the silica down here, and then I'm probably going to stop with the ingots. I think making the ingots is fine for now. We don't need to go any further. Yeah, so I got to get the silica down here, and then we've still got to do the water. Got the silica hooked up. So we've got 4 conveyors of 750. So conveyors 1 and 2 right here come down. That one goes and feeds that 750. It needs 600. This 750 comes down, feeds that. It needs 600. Conveyors 3 and 4 come down here. 3 feeds that. 750 needs 600. The last 750 needs 600. So now we've got a 5th one down here, and I need that extra 150 from all 4. So what I've got is on each one where the 750 feeds, there's a smart splitter. And the smart splitter is set up to push everything to the right, and then it'll overflow that way. And then that's just a regular merger, right? So we should, if everything was running, an extra 150 is going to come out here. It's going to join an extra 150 from there, an extra 150 from here, an extra 150 from here, which will be 600. And then that comes down and feeds the last one. Now, there's several scenarios here where something might not work right. Like, oh, this one jams, so there's not 7, you know, there's more than 750, which then backs those up. And then what about the, that extra silica from over here we're trying to get rid of? But that load balancer upstairs should take care of that. All that should matter is that one of these 4 conveyors is flowing. And if any one of them is flowing, it's going to take 780 of that extra 1,000 over here, right? So no matter how it backs up, it shouldn't back silica up into those machines, I think. I haven't tested this. I don't know. That's what I think. I'm going to go ahead and hook power up real quick. And I should have, like, power lines aren't going to exactly match, but that'll get stuff flowing. This factory definitely does not look as good. I tried to keep it somewhat organized and not go crazy, but like there's no catwalks and just kind of the way it is. It doesn't look as good as the other factory, but I'm worried I'm going to run out of the, I still can't remember the name of it, whatever the objects are, the U object limit. Yeah. So I'm a little worried about that. So here you can see that's flowing the 750. Right? Why is this a Mark IV belt? I must have done the blueprint wrong. All of those are wrong then. Because that's on the blueprint. No, that one's a Mark V. Okay. I don't know how that one had a Mark IV. Oh, no, that one's got a Mark IV as well. What did I do? How was that one? Oh, it was. Yeah, I messed the blueprint up then. Messed the blueprint up. Okay. Oh, that should fix that. So, I was going to say if we go upstairs, but there's no silica coming from the other ones. So these are all going to fill up with silica, and it's all coming from our silica that we're making from crystal right now. Oh, because I fixed that, right? So here's the thing, right? Because these are empty and we're flowing 750 into here, it's actually flowing 750 into here. Once they back up, because they can only draw 600, then they'll start to overflow. So if I built a load balancer to turn these 4 into 5, it would spread it out evenly. It shouldn't matter because these can't possibly use more than 600. So this will just be a one-time thing. All right, so that takes care of all the inputs from these. I'm not worried about the outputs. So the only thing left to be able to turn all this on is water. I guess I got to go outside and deal with that. Right, so here's a good example. Everything is filled up except for this. So it's drawn a large amount from this one, less from this one, then less from that one. And then the one back here, it's hardly drawn anything from. So that doesn't matter, though, the way I've set that load balancer up. It looks like it might have just filled up. Because the way that load balancer is upstairs, the silica from over there would just all be coming down this belt and getting over there. And it wouldn't matter that that one's backed up. It'll make more sense when it's running. I'm just stalling. I don't want to go out and do the water. So this is how I'm going to try to do my water. We know we need 4 pipes of water coming up, and each one's going to feed 2. And I know the water's that way. So what I've done for these, because these are going to push out their excess water, is I just staggered them. I couldn't do the middle because the belts are there, but I did as close to the belts as I could. And then this one will be right next to it. So there'll be pipe, pipe, and a space, and then a pipe, and a pipe. And that's the same for down there, 4 going that way, 4 going that way, and then there's 2. So these pipes, these 4 pipes will run all the way down and they'll get water. They'll come back this way. And then those 4 pipes will have to, like the middle 2 will come into these, and then the outer 2 will keep coming past and then will come into these. And just as a reminder, we need 360 water. This is going to push out 120. So then we need 240. And then we'll have 2 water extractors. So 2 water extractors send in 240. It gets joined by this 120, which is 360, which pops up, which feeds 2 machines, which needs 360. Should all work out technically without me doing a tank, but I'll probably do the tank just in case. Yeah, now I just got to run all those pipes way out there.
Better before you did that.
Listen, it was in the way. It was stuck. Even if I remove this foundation, it was stuck in the ceiling. Apparently you can't harvest it. So what I got, let me put this away. So back here, so the refineries upstairs, there's 2 and then there's 4 and there's 4. So here's the 2 run, right? So this is where the water's going to come down. This is where the water's going to go back up. And then the rest of the water will come from that way. Then going this way, there's 4. And I don't think I need this. And then over here's 4. And I don't think I need this one. So I just spent about an hour making blueprints. Okay, so here's my first blueprint. There's going to be 10 pipes coming from that way. It's going to come up here. 2 of them are going that way. 8 are going this way. Go ahead and place that down. And I've got a 10 pipes. What? Get out of here. Then I've got a 10 pipes wide blueprint. And these should be 2 foundations away, which is the max stretch on that. It's the max stretch, I should say. I haven't clicked the mouse button once. Now I'm going to click the mouse button. Now I could move it farther away, but I don't want to. That's exactly where I want it. Which works out really good. So I'm going to run that down all the way down until we're out at the water. Going this way, I've got a 2-pipe blueprint. All right, I can run that down. Here I've got a 8-pipe. I need to organize these because there's 2 different ones. So I could do this. Now I'm not going to auto connect these because I think it's using the curve or something. I don't know. I don't like the one it's using. I want to make it a little different than that. I mean, it's not bad, but I'm not crazy about that. So I'll turn auto connect off for that one. Make sure we're good here. Now, I didn't make blueprints to transition this, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 4-pipe one. Put it here, maybe back a little bit. I don't think it really matters. Now I'm going to take the 4-pipe one this way. Maybe back a little bit. I don't know. Take the 4-pipe one this way. And then here I can go ahead and, because I want that about there. I'm going to get rid of these. Get rid of those. And then I'll just manually connect them. Okay, then down here on the corner, I'm going to make sure I'm set to straight. So that'll obviously continue down a little bit, but the pipes are there. That away. I'll probably just manually add some of these in because I say about there. And I'm sure somebody's going to go in the comments, you know, you can auto connect pipes. Like, yes. Can't auto connect right here though. Because that blueprint stops there. Those 2 blueprints are there. If I tried to do auto connect, it wouldn't make my 90s and stuff. And it really wasn't worth making a blueprint for just this. Okay, the 2 pipes going to go that way. The 10's going to go this way. And all I have to do to make the connections from up here, there's going to be 4 of these. Oh, I need to fix that. There's going to be 4 of these. Each one needs to come down onto 1 pipe. It doesn't matter which one. Like that one can come to this pipe, this one to this pipe, that one to that one, that one to that one. Doesn't really matter as long as one of them goes to 1 pipe. And then down here, the 4 pipes need to connect to these 4 things. And it doesn't really matter which one. Same thing there. And then it's the same thing over here except that there's just 2. And now let me head out to the water. Then once we get out here on the water, I've got one that's 10 wide extractors. And basically the 2 outer pipes just have a T and then they go down and dead end because there's going to be 2 extractors. And then I've got an 8 blueprint, a 6, a 4, and a 2, and it's going to be the same thing. So I'm just going to throw them down, and all you're going to see is it's going to do the same thing. And then on the next one, it'll be that pipe, and then, yeah, so and so forth. Okay, so here we are down at the end. All I've got to do is put the extractors in, and so you can tell it doesn't quite want to snap. When I hold control, it's going to snap to this. And I need some distance. I'm just going to go ahead and press H to lock it. These aren't going to be quite at the right level, right? So it's going to have to ramp up. So you don't want it like super close. So just to kind of, so I can do the other side, I'm just going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Doesn't really matter. Now, I don't know if Infinite Nudge is doing this or if they changed the game because these did not snap like that before. What I need to do, though, is I need it to snap a little too close. It wants to snap to that one. I guess I'll manually do it. I don't want those to be super crooked. And you can tell there's a little bit of a space there. I think if this pipe was a little farther, I could get it to where I could get it to snap on both lines, but it's too close, so it just keeps wanting to push over into that one. So I'm just going to go down the line and do this and then do the same thing on the other side. And I will bring you back. Oh, yeah, I can hook the power up because the water can't go upstairs. Yeah, I'll bring you back when I've got that all done. There's something weird going on and I'm not sure what, but like I've got this lined up perfectly because it's drawn that line and then the arrows for that pipe are in that line and you can see it's touching this one, except here I did the same thing. And then here I did the same thing and there's a gap, but my blueprint is exactly, it's harder to tell here because I'm not on the line, but when I made the blueprint on the blueprint designer, I used the lines on the floor and it's exactly 2.5. Oh, wait. It's the space between the blueprints. It's the space between the blueprints. They're not exactly 2.5. That's why. So that's the blueprint and there's a space. And then in between the blueprints, there's not quite enough space. Okay, never mind. I haven't hooked anything else up yet, but I've got these two pipes running down to here. Here's the T's. And that's where the water's going to come down from the refineries to join the pipe. I did read an article. Well, I don't want to call it an article. I did read something on Reddit, and the person went into a lot of detail about which way the weld lines are and how that fills faster one way or the other. I don't think it's going to matter since it's water pushing this way, and then going up there. I don't think it's going to matter. But if you notice when you do it this way, see how the weld line is like that, but here the weld line is like that. And the game assumes, I think it's this way. I'm either going to say it right or I'm going to say it backwards. The game assumes that the weld line like this is down, so the water's going to go down first. So you could actually, if you knew which way was down or something, like you put it the other way and then that water goes up instead of going down first. I don't remember. I honestly don't remember, but I'm not going to connect those yet. And I've connected those upstairs, so let's run upstairs real quick. Okay, and how I'm going to figure this out. This is going to go to these two machines, but I'm going to run it up high. I'm trying to figure out how high, and I probably need like a wall here to back this up. I need to figure out how high those things can pump the water. So let's do a junction. You really going to do that to me? Because it's not. Oh. I'm just going to randomly throw this on at different intervals. Then I'm going to use the other pipeline. I want it to try to kind of go level, or if nothing else, down a little bit. Okay, so the water should be coming up in here. Maybe we've already reached the limit. Maybe the extractors can't pump. They can pump to right here and that's it. Well, I need a little more than that, guys. I need a little more than that. Gosh, should I go up that much? I only went up like 6 meters. Is that, well, then there's the, oh, that might be it. That might be it. Okay, so I need to get it. I need it pumping up higher than that, but not a lot higher. Stand by. Okay, so this is going to be able to pump 20 meters. I have to use the Mark 1 because the Mark 2 is going to pump it too high. Well, you're not. Let me do that. Okay. Pump. Can this go? Can this pump do 600 meters? It doesn't really matter. Yeah, okay, it can. Good. All right. Let me go back upstairs. So that should get us 10 meters above the floor, approximately. Okay, that's what I wanted to see. So with that pump, we can get to here, we can get to there. Got some water in here, but this is empty. That's perfect. How tall is this tank? So that'll be the next... I need the tank to definitely be up off the ground because I've got to get it... I've got to potentially get it like that high. Well, no, because it's going to go in here, isn't it? No, it's only going to get... It's only got to get 2 clicks high. Okay. I'm just going to use this white one. 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to connect this. And that should, theoretically, if the water's, let's say, getting to right there, that should fill this tank about 3/4 of the way, and it won't be able to fill it higher than that. So I'll probably need to move it up maybe 2 more meters, but let's see where it ends up. Okay, it's 99 point something percent full, and then it stopped. So definitely, I want it to be about halfway higher than that. I'm just going to push it in so I can tell how high I went. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. No, because that's higher than that. Oh, well, yeah. 4. Let's just do 4. Rid of this. It shouldn't matter which one I connect, but I'm going to connect the bottom one. That hopefully should fill it halfway or maybe a little less than half. Why is it doing that? It should not be able to lift the water that high. That doesn't make sense. I moved it up 4 meters and it didn't make that much of a difference. Okay. Oh, it is slowly getting higher, isn't it? See, the problem is it can't, it can't flow very high. I need high flow rate, but I need it to stop. I think it works better with the big tank. I need more, I can't have that. Okay, let's try this. Like, I need it to flow in at 240. I need to get a 240 flow rate. And I'm not going to get it. It's too high to get that high of a flow rate. Okay. One, 2. Let's try that. Show me a better flow rate. Nope, flow rate's terrible. Go 1 higher. I can't believe that's making that big of a difference. Oh, wait, there goes your flow rate. Why is it? No, that's not. It's not enough. Gosh, how does that other one fill so fast? Oh, hold on. Empty. What do you have? 0 fill rate? Okay. Even then, I'm not getting a consistent. That makes me think that's too high. I don't know how that tank filled so high in the first place, because... See, it's trying to fill all the way up to here. That's way too high for it. It should only be able to fill... to this one. It should not be able to put water in that one, but the pump, like, it can overdrive, and I need it to not do that. Yeah. This works out better with the giant tank just because it's so much taller. Because this technically is still too... It's too tall for the flow rate. Where are we at? So let's go down 1. Okay, look at that fill rate. That's what I need. I need it to rush in really fast, but I need it to not fill the freaking tank. Oh, you know what's messing with the flow rate? The water's coming back down out of that. I need to disconnect that. That kind of makes the whole thing invalid. But let's start over. Delete that. Empty this. Dump it out. Wait for this to stabilize. It's sloshing around a little bit. That's why it filled the tank, because the water was pushing down. Yeah, so everything I've done so far is invalid. I got to do it again. Jeez. And theoretically, yeah, because it should be able to fill there, but it's going to go, yeah, it's probably going to fill the tank. So I need to move the tank higher, but flow rate's slowing way down. Like, I mean, that would technically work. There is a little bit of space, as long as there's some space. As long as there's some space, these, it's just one of these. Whichever refinery's hooked up, I think it's that pipe's that way. So it's this refinery. As long as there's some space, this refinery will be able to push its water out into here. That water will start to get used. More water will come in, and the pumps won't turn on until it gets to here. I really want it a little higher than that. But I need the fill rate to be really good. It's got to be above 240, because when the pumps turn on, I need the pumps to actually push 240. See, and I don't like that fill rate. Oh, I need this tank to be higher, and I don't have room for the big tank. I guess technically I could stack 2 tanks, and I could have a junction there, and then the pump would be able to fill this tank really fast, most of the way full, and then that refinery could put some in there, but would also be able to pump there. Well, see, I need to know how high that refinery can pump, because I think it's at 10 meters. I think they can do 10 meters, which theoretically is only where that one can go. I need more of a separation. Or I could put a pump on that. If I put a pump on that, it would go way higher. I'm just trying to avoid having like 20 pumps. See, this time it filled it completely up. It didn't leave any space. So this tank is too low and this tank is too high. And yet there's only 1 meter of difference. I need more separation. It's like I need the pumps down at the water to be lower, but I can't. And I can't raise this higher. I'm not sure how to do. I know 100% what would fix it. Like, I know exactly what would fix it. If I put a big tank here and set it to the same level. Let me just bring it in here so I can make sure. Is that right? But it's hard to tell what I'm doing. Yeah, that's the... because having this at this level, this would get us the flow rate we need because it's that low. So it's going to flow in here really fast, exactly like I need. And there's no way it's going to fill it up because this tank is so much taller. Like, this is going to fix the problem. I was trying to avoid having one of these because I would need one of those for those two, one of those for those two. Yeah, we would need 10 of these tanks. And there's not really space. I would need 4 of those tanks in here. There's not really space for that. Theoretically, I shouldn't need the tank anyway because 240 from the thing and 120, but you could see how the flow rate, like the pump was pushing, it's pushing 600. Even though those 2 extractors can only do 240 because there's a bunch of water in the pipe. Oh, I really don't want to try to jam these tanks in. See, this is actually perfect with the big tank. It filled it halfway, and now, of course, it's sloshing and the water's running back out, but the pumps can fill that super fast to halfway, and there's plenty of space for the refinery to push in the excess. This is exactly what I need, is the big tank. It's exactly what I need. I need a small tank that's this size, but is taller. Because I need the height, not really the volume. I'm going to have to find some way to jam these big tanks in, because it's going to work perfectly with them. This thing's kind of stable right now, about halfway. So, I said earlier it doesn't matter which one of these goes to which one of these. Well, you don't really want these two pushing water to that one, and then it pushes its water back to this one. That doesn't really make sense. So I did flip these two, and I might need to flip the other ones. I don't really know, but I did flip these two. So the water pipe that runs under there comes down, pops up, feeds these two. Those two come back and feed that one. And yeah, so with this halfway, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take this. I'm going to connect these two. Water's going to rush in because we got, this gravity-fed tank here and the pump can easily pump that high if it can pump halfway up. Those are going to start making alumina solution. The alumina solution is going to come out on those two. We got a little buffer tank here, and it's going to go into this refinery. This refinery is going to do its thing with the alumina solution. It's going to push its water back out, and then that water is going to rejoin this pipe. And what I need to see is that it doesn't back up, because that refinery hopefully can pump its water higher than halfway, and then this will all work. So I just need to let it run for a little bit and see what happens. And definitely nothing should back up. Yeah, the aluminum ingots technically will back up, but it's going to take a while for that to happen. And I can put an awesome sink down there if I needed to for the outputs. Let's just do that. Let's throw an awesome sink down real quick. Just so that absolutely doesn't back up. It's having trouble getting rid of its water. And that's what I was worried about, because I kind of contemplated whether this was going to need a pump or not. I know if we put a pump on there, it can easily pump that all the way up. We just got really unlucky with the heights of things, because those pumps downstairs are like 10 meters down, so they can't pump. The extractors can only pump 10 meters, which would have been fine, except it didn't quite get high enough. So then the pump can do 20 meters, which is 10 meters above the floor, and this is doing 10 meters above the floor. So, where's my pump? And see, some of these I don't even know if I've got room to pump. Not gonna let me put that there, and I probably won't have room downstairs to put it on. Probably not. Oh, I do? Okay, well, it's kind of funny to pump down, but that's kind of what we need to do right now to test this. All right, that's going to empty that out. Unless I put it on the wrong one. The far one on the inside. Far one. Far one. It's got a pump. Pump's not on. Why aren't you pumping? Is the pipes full? I don't understand how that thing can still be supplying 600 meters. Like, there's a bunch of water in the pipe, so it's pumping that, but those extractors can only do 240. Yeah, you can't possibly be flowing 580. It's just this pipe and these two things, and these can only do 240. Flow rate 500. I'm very confused. It's slowing down, but it's still above 120. Maybe I just need to let it run for a couple minutes. And then it'll empty the pipe out. Okay, I think that's what it was. That whole pipe was full, and it just needed to run for a couple minutes. Now that pump is only going to be pumping 240, which means there's room in the pipe for this to pump out. I could test again to see if I even could take that pump off. This should fill up. It should be able to fill up halfway. Let me see if I can get rid of this pump. I still don't think I'll be able to. Because it's too close in height. But maybe. I wish that pump down there, I wish I could mess with it instead of saying, okay, 20 meters. No, I don't want you to pump 20 meters. Let's turn the pump down. Like, I want to underclock the pump so that it can only pump 15 meters high. Okay, I'm trying to talk. I can't talk. This thing's still backing up. There's two of them. Each one's trying to pump out 120. A Mark 1 pipe can do 300. That's only 240 into that. This is completely full. Why is that full? You're doing 240. Oh, because you've backed up on water again. That's why. So I have to have a pump there. Oh, I don't want a pump. Everything's going to need a pump. I only have to put pumps here because I've got to overpower those pumps. Yeah, why can't I like underclock a pump? I only want 15 meters of head left. I mean, the problem is, if I knew this in the first place, this whole factory needs to be like 5 meters taller, and it would work, because I can't lower the pumps. I can't lower the extractors. You know, at this point, I can't raise all of this. If I could underclock the extractors to where they could, or, well, no. I need the extractors to pump 15 meters. I don't know what I'm saying, but basically it's like a really simple solution, but I had to add those pumps, which then means I can't use the little tank, so I have to go to the big tank, but then that means I have to pump here. And we're having to do 5 times as much just because these ended up about 10 meters above that. And then I was relying on the fact that those could pump 10 meters above this, but because I have to add the pump and it does 20, it puts it at the same height as that. This sucks. I'm just going to end the episode here because there's a couple ways I could deal with this, and I don't like any of them because they're all just so much more convoluted. This should be very simple where we shouldn't need any pumps at all. And now it's looking like I need to put pumps on everything, which is just like a huge waste. So yeah, I just need in between episodes to try to come up with something that I like. So yeah, we'll end it here. I was hoping to get aluminum going. Technically, aluminum's going. Here we are. We're making some. All right. See you guys next time.